Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seat. The program will begin in 2 minutes.
Fire got lit inside a bright-eyed child. Every note just wrapped around the soul. From steel guitars to Memphis, all the way to rock and roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Warrant Officer 4, Robert A. Murphy, and Miss Stephanie Biker, daughter of Medal of Honor recipient Gary Biker, your hosts for this evening.
Congratulations on the start of your Navy journey. I am truly proud.
Good to see you, Stephanie. I'm so glad to be hosting with you this evening.
Yes, exciting.
You know, I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years, and this is your first time. So if any time why we're emceeing tonight, please just let me know. If you got any questions, anything coming up, just let me know. We're going to get through this and have a blast.
Okay, I think I'm good, but okay. I know, this is so exciting. Look how wonderful everything looks. The gala hall, the tables, the stage, and most importantly, this beautiful audience.
You know, I look at the entire crowd, and they're totally vibing. I mean, just look, I'm so impressed. They're vibing, and, you know,
Wait,
it's just...
vibing?
Yeah, vibing.
Vibing.
Vibing. So one of the things about being a good host is to know your audience, and so I've got it right up here, vibing. The Gen Z language. Now, there's probably 27 people tonight who know what I'm talking about. High school students are going to connect with me, right? I'm not getting the vibe I was hoping for, but...
Tell me about it. I'm excited. We got Medal of Honor recipient Clint Ramachet today.
Yeah, Clint, man, that guy is such a Sigma.
Wait, Sigma?
Well, look, right up there,
Okay,
Sigma.
okay.
The guy's such a Sigma.
Okay. We get it.
Yeah,
we get it.
yep, you good.
Our donors, supporters, Vice Admiral Chuck Munns and his wife Kristen, Major General Mike Adke and Major General Jeff Jones, State Senator Tom Young and his wife Heather, State Representative Celeste Davis, State Representative Brandon Guffey, Chancellor Dan Heimerman and his wife Claudia, and our very own community salutes, Midland, South Carolina Board of Directors. Welcome.
I even see some of our Community Salutes Board of Directors, and I thank you for coming back and being supportive of this. And I didn't see General Jones in the audience, but General Jones, a quick shout out. Thank you for those vehicles out there. Thank you for allowing that to take place. So I want to ask the parents of the enlistees perhaps to write this next name down. And I don't know if I saw him in the audience, but I'm hoping he's here. So parents, we got this whole community around you, and we're kind of giving you some names that really understand how special tonight is for you and your students. So this next name, Mr. Dwight Branham, is our Aiken County Veterans Affairs Officer. He'll be your actual go-to person for any assistance your son and daughter may need when they return home after their enlistment. And of course, I have to give a shout out to the University of South Carolina, Aiken. It's one of the top 50 military-friendly universities in the nation, and we just found out that USC Aiken is ranked number 7 in the entire nation for military spouse friendly. It's an incredible opportunity that USC Aiken has. USC Aiken opened its door to this beautiful center for us this evening and for the Military Enlistee Gala. Thank you, Chancellor Heimerman and Mr. Stone, for making USC Aiken a beacon for service member, for military spouses, for veterans, and now for the ROTC program. You can see how they're ranked so high in the nation for what they do.
And everyone joining us online, we are so glad you're here. Welcome.
So we must stop and mention our donors and our community supporters. So please take a moment, if you turn to your program, look at the slides above me as well. And so for the enlistees, I think it's really important that you look at that list, and I want you to write a note to your future self. So with these, our corporate donors, our individual donors, all these people who make this happen. So while you're turning that, I just want to stop for a moment, and as you look at that slide and you're looking at program, please give our donors and our sponsors and our individuals who support us a hand. Please do that. So for the enlistees, here's my recommendation to you. You're going to write a note to your future self. And I want you to go to that page in our program and you're going to write this. When I get out of the military, I'm going to send my resume to one or all of these corporations, and they will then in turn help you find your next career when you come back home. That's how important you are to everybody in this community. Oh, so Stephanie, I also got to tell you, we just, all these people we just mentioned, I mean, think about it. An admiral, a Medal of Honor recipient, corporations, individuals, these people are just straight up on fire.
On fire?
On fire. So, enlistees, did I use that term right? On fire? I'm looking at this table right there. Was the on fire the way to go with that? Look at, they're not giving me anything. It's nothing.
No feedback.
I'm not getting that. So look how many service members, the veterans, the ROTC, the junior ROTC cadets are in the house. Check out their uniforms. Check out all their medals that everybody's got.
Now they are Riz.
Riz. That's a good one.
Yeah, they all have game. You know, Riz.
Gotcha.
You're not the only one who speaks Z.
Okay, speak Z.
Yeah.
That works. I like that too. I'm going to add that to my repertoire. So, everybody we mentioned is pretty special, and they all make up this kind of patriotic community gathered here to celebrate this evening's most special guest. Now, out of everybody we've mentioned so far, we haven't mentioned the most special guest. And instead of just announcing who this most special guest is, your word Riz, the most Riz, better than all Riz in the entire house.
That's not how you use Riz.
Okay, someone who's an enlistee, give me a thumbs up. Did I use Riz the right way? No, my gosh, I got a thumb down. I do have to tell you, I got to give a shout out to this young guy named Logan, because Logan says, hey man, use the Gen Z language and they'll all get what you're saying. Not thinking it's working right now, but all right, bet. But I have an idea. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are here with us this evening as one of the men and women graduating from high school and enlisting in the military,
and if you are a parent or guardian of one of these enlistees, would you remain seated?
And would everybody else please stand and give them a round of applause? Please give them a standing ovation. So when I count to 3, if you look up on the slide here, when I count to 3, I want everybody to say as a community, thank you for enlisting, thank you for defending our freedom. 1, 2, 3. Give them another hand, thank you. This is how our community recognizes your decision to enlist. Thank you. And before we stand for our national anthem, please silence your cell phone. You know, I couldn't find a Gen Z term for cell phone. I heard bone, I heard a couple other things, but
We'll just call it a
cell phone, gotcha.
There should be appetizers on your tables. Please go ahead and enjoy these light snacks now, as our wonderful servers will be around to service our meal in a few minutes.
So at this time, I'd like you to please stand for our national anthem and the presentation of the colors, which includes every service flag from the armed forces, and presented by the Aiken High School, home of the Hornets, Junior ROTC, under the leadership of United States Marine Corps Master Sergeant DeBose. And remain standing following the presentation of colors for the invocation prayer presented by Reverend Richard Wilson. And Richard Wilson, I see you over here. Thank you for being here, sir. If you'd join us up at the podium, please.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we pause this evening to thank you, God, for the life and opportunity that you have given to each one of us. We praise you for these, our sons and daughters, these, our nieces and nephews, family members and friends, who have chosen to protect and defend this great country of ours by serving in our armed forces. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for all the investments made by parents, grandparents, teachers, and mentors to bring them where they are today. Bless and protect these young men and women, and grant them courage, wisdom, and the ability to faithfully serve this great land. We thank you, Father, for this wonderful banquet that you have provided to us. We ask your blessing upon it, that we may use it to your honor and glory, and always remember to help those who are less fortunate than us. We ask this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Please be seated. So, Steph, I work in a university, college. You have young kids. I'm not sure the Gen Z thing worked.
I don't know, we tried.
We tried. I tried to connect. We even had the definitions up there. So let me speak in plain language about this organization called Our Community Salutes. Our Community Salutes is a national organization founded in 2009 to support the next generation of patriots enlisting to the U.S. Armed Services after graduating from high school.
Our Community Salutes Midland, South Carolina, founded in 2019, is committed to recognizing and honoring high school enlistees and their commitment to military service, and to provide parents and guardians of enlistees with community support as their son or daughter transitions into military service. Therefore, on behalf of the OCS Midland, South Carolina Board of Directors, welcome to the 2025 Our Community Salutes Midland, South Carolina Enlisted Recognition Gala Dinner.
We are so glad you are joining us this evening, and I'm just excited to be able to host tonight's event. We have so much planned for you this evening, but before we get to our meal, I think it's important that I'd like to take a few minutes to ensure that everyone in the house, you know, we talk about OCS in this gala, Our Community Salutes in this gala. This is the way we think this ought to be for every individual who lists into our military. It's a big deal. And I want to make sure that everybody understands just how special these men and women actually are.
Yes. Let's start with this. 1% of our nation's youth service in the military in defense of our freedom, and only about 24% of our nation's youth meet the physical fitness, mental health, and education to even go to boot camp, much less wear the uniform.
That's an incredible statistics, and I hope you heard that. Only 24%. Is that it?
Yep.
I've got to believe that that same 24% who meet all the qualifications to get into the military are the exact same students that the universities are going after. I believe they're the same students that the businesses are going after. These students are special, and this is why we're here this evening, to ensure that you know just how thankful your community is for your decision to serve. So enlistees, I just ask you for a moment to look around this gala hall. Look at the school officials, the state senator, the representatives, senior military officers, veterans, local fire departments here.
Your community is with you this evening to celebrate you.
So tonight, you are the big deal, and you are why we are here tonight. You are our special guest tonight.
Yes, and we, the rest of us in this hall this evening, want to be the first as a community to say thank you for enlisting, for being accepted into our United States Armed Forces. Give them a resounding
applause. One more time. Give them a round of applause. So, Stephanie, you and I come from military families, and I understand your father joined the Army. He became a Green Beret, a medic, received the Medal of Honor for his heroic actions in Vietnam. And did he ever tell you why he joined the military?
Yes, he did. It's an interesting story. Right after graduation, my dad followed his high school sweetheart to college. Unfortunately, soon after, she broke up with him. He was devastated at the time and did what any heartbroken young man from upstate New York would do. Him and his friend hitchhiked to Florida for spring break. His best friend, Tom, also was recently dumped. On the trip, though, Tom got very sick and he had to quit college. After recuperating, though, this young man who had a family legacy with the Marine Corps made the decision to join and encouraged my dad to do the same.
Wait. So your dad couldn't get into the Marine Corps?
No, that's not what happened.
Oh, okay,
As the story goes, my dad, at the time, thought all Marines were crazy.
Yeah, he'd be right.
Yeah. Okay, so it goes. My dad, who had just recently read the book, The Green Beret, and clearly liked to make quick decisions, said with commitment, no, I'm going to become a Green Beret. And even though this decision to join may have seemed rash and spontaneous, there were many, many seeds sown inside him prior to that decision. Many conversations and soul searching. The breakup was just the catalyst that pushed him to join. That decision changed the trajectory of my father's life. It really brought out the best in him, and it became his legacy, as it will become all of yours. So Robert, do you remember why you joined?
I do. I got into college after high school, and I worked a job at the same time, but I needed to be part of something bigger than myself. I grew up playing team sports. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of energy. I was one of those kids. And college, to me, nothing wrong about college, but to me at that time, it seemed very solo flight. So I joined the Corps, And my mother didn't speak to me for weeks after. My father thought it was the greatest decision I ever made. I think it's because I got out of the house pretty quickly after that. But in hindsight, I think it's really normal, parents. I think it's very normal for parents to feel nervous, to feel concerned, just a bit scared. You know, there's a fun story in the Murphy family home when, after I was in, then my son joined.
Okay, I wish we had time to hear everyone's
don't.
story as to why they joined.
You just canked me.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
no,
please. Gotcha.
we don't
Okay.
have time. Wouldn't that be incredible, though, to hear all of your stories, all the stories of these high school students before us to understand their why?
So no matter their why, listen to this. The fact remains that you did enlist. You did join.
Yes, and although my dad had no idea at the time what a long journey he would have ahead in becoming a Green Beret, I truly believe he knew what he had required deep inside him, like all of you do here tonight. Whether your why comes from a long legacy of service in your family or a seemingly quick decision, one thing every enlistee in this room has in common is there is an incredible strength somewhere inside that is urging you to make this commitment to serve and lay your life on the line for your country.
That was deep. Thank you. Enlistees, thank you. That was everything you just said. I believe they're going to experience that as well. And tonight is about celebrating the class of 2025 military enlistees. Enlistees, all 27 of you are surrounded by the community because you are fire. I'm going at it again, Gen Z. Because you are fire, you're Gucci, and you're a big deal this evening. And it's because of you that we are here tonight. So thank you for making that decision. Thank you for my family and my grandchildren for protecting my freedom. Thank you.
Let's meet back up here in a few minutes after dinner. If you're watching online, please take a 30-minute break and come back and join us. You will not want to miss the incredible events we have planned.
Good to see you again. We'll be back in a bit. Let's bring on our food, please. Kyle.
People always tell me their life story, love they've lost their taste of glory. He sat next to me at the counter in the diner, said, I used to be Wall Street, but this is much finer. Oh, yeah. He had a leather look on his steel horse Harley, and a dark-eyed girlfriend he called Charlie. He looked a little lost walking out the door, but I think I knew what he was looking for. Freedom, sweet freedom. I gassed her up, climbed back in my cab. To my wife, I'm a husband. To my kids, I'm a dad. To the credit card companies, I'm just another sucker. To the IRS, long haul trucker. Some say that freedom's the power to do one pleases. You can live like the devil or hold on to Jesus. I found the one thing I was born to do. Girl, that's why I'm running back to you. Freedom. Sweet freedom. He climbed up in my truck with his green duffel bag. I knew he was a soldier cause I saw his dog tags. We talked about it, we cried about it. Then a steel horse Harley came roaring on past. I knew it was Charlie hanging on real fast. We talked about it, we laughed about it. Through the joy and pain that living brings, I know we all want the same thing. Sweet that the needle can't give. You're pressed and forgotten, or praying for it. It's what the brave and courageous are fighting for. An open sail on a distant shore. Freedom.
Katie's sitting on her old front porch, watching the chickens peck the ground. There ain't a whole lot going on tonight in this one-horse town. Over yonder, coming up the road in a beat-up Chevy truck, her boyfriend Tommy is laying on the horn, splashing through the mud and the muck. Her daddy says he ain't worth a lick. When it comes to brains, he got the short end of the stick. But Katie's young and man, she just don't care. She'd follow Tommy anywhere. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. And even if they have to run away, she's gonna marry that boy someday. Katie and Tommy at the drive-in movie, parked in the very last row. They're too busy holding on to one another to even care about the show. Later on outside the Tasty Freeze, Tommy slipped something on her hand. He says my high school ring will have to do till I can buy a wedding band. Her daddy says he ain't worth a lick. When it comes to brains, he got the short end of the stick. But Katie's young and man, she just don't care. She'd follow Tommy anywhere. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. And even if they have to run away, she's gonna marry that boy someday. Her daddy's waiting up till 12:30 when they come sneaking up the wall. He says, young lady, get on up to your room while me and Junior have a talk. Mama breaks in, says, don't lose your temper. It wasn't very long ago. You yourself was just a hayseed plowboy who didn't have a row to hoe. My daddy said you wasn't worth a lick. When it came to brains, you got the short end of the stick. But he was wrong, and honey, you are too. Katie looks at Tommy like I still look at you. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. What's meant to be will always find a way. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. What's meant to be will always find a way. She's gonna marry that boy someday. Phone rings, baby cries, TV diet, Google lies. Good morning, honey. Go to work, make up, try to keep the balance up between love and money. She used to tie her hair up in ribbons and bows, sign her letters with X's and O's. Got a picture of her mama in heels and pearls. She's trying to make it in her daddy's world. She's an American girl. An American girl. Slow dance, second chance, mama needs romance and a living maid. Fix the sink, mow the yard, really isn't all that hard if you get paid. She used to tie her hair up in ribbons and bows, sign her letters with X's and O's. Got a picture of her mama in heels and pearls. She's trying to make it in her daddy's world. An American girl, an American girl. Well, she's got her God and she's got good wine. Aretha Franklin and Patsy Cline. She used to tie her hair up in ribbons and bows, sign her letters with X's and O's. Got a picture of her mama in heels and pearls. She's gonna make it in her daddy's world. An American girl, an American girl. She's an American girl. She used to tie her hair up in ribbons and bows, sign her letters with X's and O's. Got a picture of her mama in heels and pearls. She's gonna make it in her daddy's world. She's an American girl, yeah. But she tied her hair up in ribbons and bows, signed her letters with X's and O's, X's and O's, X's and O's.
You know, well, I'm a chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, homemade wine, where the peaches grow. In my house, it's not much to talk about, but it's filled when love is grown in southern ground, and a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most. Not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a piece of mind, this I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. Thank God for my life, for the stars and stripes, may freedom forever fly. Let it ring, salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. touch of a precious child. And no mother's love gets a little chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of my precious child, and no mother's love. Driving through town, just my boy and me, with a Happy Meal in his booster seat, knowing that he couldn't have the toy till his nuggets were gone. A green traffic light turned straight to red. I hit my brakes and mumbled under my breath. His fries went a-flying and his orange drink covered his lap. Well, in my 4-year-old said a 4-letter word. It started with S, and I was concerned. So I said, son, now where'd you learn to talk like that? He said, I've been watching you, Dad, ain't that cool? I'm your buckaroo, I wanna be like you and eat all my food and grow as tall as you are. We got cowboy boots and camo pants, yeah, we're just alike, hey, ain't we, Dad? I wanna do everything you do, so I've been watching you. We got back home and I went to the barn. I bowed my head and I prayed real hard. Said, Lord, please help me help my stupid self. Then this side of bedtime later that night, turning on my son Scooby-Doo nightlight. He crawled out of bed and he got down on his knees. He closed his little eyes, folded his little hands, spoke to God like he was talking to a friend. And I said, son, now where'd you learn to pray like that? He said, I've been watching you, Dad, ain't that cool? I'm your buckaroo, I wanna be like you and eat all my food and grow as tall as you are. We like fixing things and holding Mama's hand, yeah, we're just alike, hey, ain't we, Dad? I wanna do everything you do, so I've been watching you. With tears in my eyes, I wrapped him in a hug, said my little bear is growing up. And he said, but when I'm big, I'll still know what to do. 'Cause I've been watching you, Dad, ain't that cool? I'm your buckaroo, I wanna be like you and eat all my food and grow as tall as you are. By then I'll be strong as Superman, we'll be just alike, hey, won't we, Dad? When I can do everything you do, 'cause I've been watching you. Hey, yeah. Riding down a red dirt, driving in a white truck, looking at a pretty blue sky. Tie-dyed kids playing in a sprinkler, daddy drinking cold Bud Light. Talk about a big life, In a small town, we ain't got a lot, but we sure found what we were looking for. In Georgia red lipstick, tied white tank top, Levi denim blue eyes. Bottle rockets blowing up, hot dogs 7-Up, ain't even 4th of July. That's just how it is around here and we love it. We wouldn't trade it all in for nothing more. It's in the song, baby, can't you feel it? And if you can't, baby, listen to the lyrics. It's Friday night freedom, football game. Yes, proud of where you're from. It's your last name. It's 13 stripes, 50 stars on the wheel. So hold up your beer and holler if you hear it. That American spirit. Old red 6-string, white piece of paper, scribbled down love in blue ink. Sweet pretty girl, sweet southern melody, sweep it right off of her feet. It's a preacher, it's a Nile, it's a ring on a finger and a Bible and a title on a fixer-up house. It's in the song, baby, can't you feel it? And if you can't, baby, listen to the lyrics. It's Friday night freedom, football game. Yes, proud of where you're from. It's your last name. It's 13 stripes and 50 stars on the wheel. So hold up your beer and holler if you hear it. That American spirit. It's in the song, baby, can't you feel it? And if you can't, baby, listen to the lyrics. It's Friday night freedom, a football game. Yes, proud of where you're from. It's your last name. It's 13 stripes and 50 stars in the wind. So hold up your beer and holler if you hear it. That American spirit. Riding down red dirt, driving in a white truck, looking at a pretty blue sky.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. touching down from a 6-night honeymoon. Sun-kissed kids, still drunk on love. Went from all-inclusive margaritas in Malibu to praying we could pay rent this month. That doormat says welcome home, but I think it's wherever I'm with you. It's more than some bricks and stone. No, there ain't nothing like home sweet. You and me ain't got much, but we got all we need. Wherever the wind blows, wherever this life goes, baby, all I know ain't nothing like home sweet. You and me. Your love is like a porch swing on Sunday, just as gentle as a summer sunrise. They say it's where the heart is, well, mine's with you, babe. Long as I got your hand, I'm fine. Could be white brick and picket fences, or some busted AC hotel room. It's all picture perfect if you're in it. No, it don't get much better than home sweet. You and me ain't got much, but we got all we need. Wherever the wind blows, wherever this life goes, baby, all I know ain't nothing like home sweet. You and me, home sweet. You and me. Quarter acre in a 2-bed farmhouse, Polaroid kiss with a red soul sign. Sitting on boxes in the living room, laughing and crying, just staring at them 2 pink lines. Ooh, yeah. Time to make a little more room in our home sweet. You and me, yeah, we got it all. It's still all I need. Wherever the wind blows, wherever this life goes, baby, all I know ain't nothing like home sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seat. The program will resume in 5 minutes.
West, on a plane bound west, I see her stretching out below. Land, blessed motherland, the place where I was born. Scars, yeah, she's got her scars. Sometimes it starts to worry me, 'cause lose, I don't wanna lose sight of who we are. From the mountains high to the wave crashed coast, there's a way to find better days, I know. It's been a long, hard ride, got a ways to go, but this is still the place that we all call home. Free, nothing feels like free, though it sometimes means we don't get along. 'Cause same, no, we're not the same, but that's what makes us strong. chase that dream across the sea. Names, then they sign their names for something they believe. Red, how the blood ran red. We laid our dead in sacred ground. Just think, wonder what they'd think if they could see us now. It's been a long, hard ride, got a ways to go, but this is still the place that we all call home. It's been a long, hard ride, and I won't lose hope. This is still the place that we all call home.
He sat in that long line of barber chairs. The sergeant asked him,
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Robert Murphy.
said yes, sir, as he heard.
Thank you, James, for that wonderful introduction. So, I had to do a little check from the first half to the second half of the event. And Stephanie, you'd be glad to know, out of about the 6 or 7 Gen Z terms I used, Linda's giving me the hindsight to get really close to this mic. We got one right. We got one right. So I talked to the students, and a lot of them just said, yeah, don't do that anymore. So we're working hard. And then I said, well, if I just use some of my boomer language and then add it on top of my Marine Corps language, I don't think the recruiters would be very comfortable with me at that point, because then the parents would be like, what is that guy speaking? So we talked differently, but we all agreed on one thing. That these enlistees are special. And the guys and girls who went to World War I and II and Korea and Vietnam, they're special. The Cold War vets, Afghanistan, Iraq, they just served. You put on the uniform and you're special. And there's just something about that we want to make sure we stop for a moment and just honor that. So tonight in our program, if you turn, we're into the area where we're going to do some awards. This is a very special time for us. And in the first award that we have here, what we call the Powell Award. The Colin Powell Award, named after General Colin Powell, U.S. Army, is a public service award that is presented to high school counselors in recognition of providing guidance, counseling, mentoring for students to assist in their accomplishments, their talents, and interests as they move forward in their lives. This award is presented to a high school counselor that best support young adults, so this is just not about the military, though it has a tie-in, supports young adults in making their individual education or career choices in high school and upon graduation. If you're around me for any length of time, you're going to hear me say that the world has changed. As you heard about the 1% coming from only the 24%. Joining the military enlistees is not a plan B. It's not a plan C. It's a plan A. Just like college is a plan A, just like going into the workforce is a plan A. It used to be in a time where it seemed like you had to go to college, and if you didn't get to college, someone would say, oh, Robbie is joined the military, and the people would just kind of like look at him like, oh, didn't get into college? It's not that way anymore at all. These people who go in and are looking for the plan A, it could be the military and it could be college, and you're all on the same plane. So this award is provided to one guidance counselor in each local organization that represents all counselors within a school program, whose service, compassion, and commitment is an example to all of us. From a recruiter's perspective, it might sound like this. It might be one person you would say, if every counselor was like this, it would be incredible. One of the military recruiters with us this evening wrote this about this year's award winner. This counselor, quote, "This counselor has a strong relationship between recruiters and local businesses and schools and community leaders, fostering an environment where military recruiting mission is not only understood, but it's embraced. Her dedication to bringing the gap between the military and the civilian world has been instrumental in strengthening recruitment efforts and enhancing the public trust of the armed forces." And the General C. Powell Award was a leader who believed service, mentorship, and the power of bringing people together for a greater cause. This counselor embodies these values in every way. Her unwavering commitment to supporting those who she serves, her relentless advocacy for recruiting mission, and her ability to inspire others make her ideal candidate for this award. Now, I'm just going to take a moment here because I'm wondering if Sergeant First Class Daniel Graham is in the audience with us tonight. Sergeant First Class Graham, are you with us? She wasn't able to make it, or he wasn't able to make it, but I was going to ask her to come on stage because this is, oh, she's here? Come on up, please. Join me on stage. There you go. So this night is about our enlistees and why the Sergeant First Class is making her way up front. We have to recognize that this recruiting mission they have is a tough gig. From the 24%, as we talked about earlier, the same people are going after these students to go to college. And I want Sergeant Graham to read exactly what she wrote when she summarized this year's guidance or high school counselor to receive this award. As a recruiter, I just kind of assume, look at the look she's giving me. I just assume that you'd be good to come on up and say hello. I am not. Okay, well, you're here now. You're here now. I made it so easy for you. These are your words, and I want you to announce who this year Colin Powell Award recipient is.
I'm just going to say this.
Right there.
All right. For these reasons, I wholeheartedly support Mrs. Nina Dorman's selection as the recipient of this award. Her dedication and contributions have left an indelible mark on the recruiting community, and she is more than deserving of this prestigious recognition.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the stage Miss Dina Dorman, please. Please give them both a round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Miss Stephanie Bykirk for the Gary Bykirk Award.
I have to add, my dad was a guidance counselor for 25 years, and much of his life was dedicated to his students, so that award really touches me as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so blessed and honored to be here once again to present this next award in my father's name. The Bykirk Way is a life of sacrifice and significance. This award is given to a recruit that exemplifies those qualities by not only being a true leader, but one with a servant's heart. Before we announce this year's award, please help me welcome back to the stage a young lady that knows what it means to live the Bykirk Way. which is living out the belief that the path to true success is a life of significance to others. Our 2023 Gary Bykirk Award recipient, Ms. Tamira Hutto. Welcome back. So glad to see you. So catch us up all on what you've been up to since you last walked this stage, and I'm sure you have a little wisdom and words of encouragement for our new recruits.
Yes, good evening. For those who don't know me, my name is Tamira Hutto, and I stand before you as a proud specialist in the Army National Guard with my MOS being 68 Whiskey, a combat medic. In 2023, I was honored to receive this prestigious award, and today I am honored to stand before you all to give a speech. Fast forward to 2024, I embarked on my college adventure at USC-Aiken, pursuing a passion for nursing to earn my bachelor's degree in science of nursing with hopes of becoming a labor and delivery nurse. As I look across the room, I see bright young service members who will become great leaders in the future. Throughout life, you will face many hardships that will be challenging, but remember that a good support system is key in helping you overcome any that come your way. There will be times when you feel overwhelmed or you feel like giving up. I was in basic training once, and one day I got, well, not me, but my whole company got evicted 4 times in one day. So it was very challenging moving stuff up and down. It was like we could have been our own little moving company. But anyways, don't give up. Find that motivation that keeps you going or why you joined the military. Pursue your goals and interests, and you are never too young or too old to do so. Try to take life one day at a time and make the most of it. Don't feel ashamed to ask for guidance and help from other service members. Most service members of higher rank have experience in different areas that can mentor you or provide you with resources to help navigate you. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You may think that some questions aren't worth asking, but that question could be beneficial information for you or someone else. And lastly, take pride in being in the military, regardless of what branch you choose or currently in. Not everyone answers this calling, but you did. That courage sets you apart from your peers. You represent the future of the military and this nation that will be led by discipline, honor, and unity. You are a part of a great legacy of this nation. Thank you for your courage, your commitment, and your willingness to serve something greater than yourself. Thank you.
Wow, Tamara. I'd love it if you join me presenting this year's Sergeant Gary Bykirk Award to our 2025 recipient.
Absolutely. Please turn your program where you can see more about the U.S. Army Sergeant Gary Bykirk. For his actions in Vietnam, Sergeant Gary Bykirk was awarded the Medal of Honor. The medal was formally presented to him by President Richard Nixon on October 15, 1973. Gary was a former board member of our very own Midland, South Carolina, chapter of our community salutes. In memory of Medal of Honor recipient Gary Bykirk, Midland's OCS chapter created the Gary Bykirk Award.
The Gary Bykirk Award is awarded to an enlistee who leads a life of significance through demonstrated actions, words, and behavior, leads with these character traits: selflessness, integrity, leadership, consistent record of community service, accepts others for who they are, and treats others with kindness.
This award represents the best in our nation's military and is passed on to a young woman or man who strives to emulate a life found in the heart of Sergeant Gary Bykirk. Before we present this award, I think it is vital for all Americans to hear Gary's words.
My dad said, to really live, you must first learn what it means to deny yourself and be able to help others. And this year's recipient meets those requirements. not only having strong leadership abilities, but also already walking the path of living that life of significance. This student's nomination letter states, during the 4 years this student, 2 of which as a junior ROTC, she has been an outstanding cadet and role model for other students. She combines exceptional work ethic and determination with a strong desire to excel in all that she does. This student has been given many awards throughout her high school career. She's deeply motivated to serve her country. With a goal of a career in the military and to get her college degree while serving, she has given over 90 hours of community service in the last year with NJROTC. She's also a member of the Buddy Club, where she works with special needs students to brighten their days. This all shows a heart of service, determination, strong work ethic, and leadership abilities, all traits that my father possessed. But here are some quotes from her nomination that speak directly to the spirit of this award. She is an outstanding role model. She always presents herself in a manner that brings honor to the NJROTC program in school. She leads by example. And these next 2 quotes really speak to who my father was and what I mean when I say the Bykirk way. Although she is extremely talented, it is the character behind the talent that sets her apart. Her kind spirit fosters an environment of garnishing the admiration of all who encountered her. And this last quote, wow. This young lady possesses unlimited potential. When given the opportunity, she never disappoints. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage this year's Gary Bykirk Award winner, Shalana Gomillion from Aiken High School. Just to let you know, on behalf of the directors, OCS Midland, South Carolina, we've also presented her with a $500 check.
I grew up in a tiny town in California, and I was always just so amazed at, my grandfather, especially Grandpa Smith, old World War II vet, and he was the one that always taught me little lessons in life. My dad was a Vietnam vet. He didn't talk a whole lot about Vietnam or what he'd experienced, but you could just see that sense of pride in everything he did, and reflecting back to his military experience with us boys. From the get, I just wanted to serve. I wanted to follow the tradition of my family and just do my part to give back to this great country. Dad told me, look, right now our nation's at peace. We're not really doing a whole lot in the world, but there will come a day. It might not be tomorrow and it might not be in 20 years. But if you sign to go into the military, know that that day might come that you'll have to go serve. And you'll experience and see things that you'll never forget.
Throughout history, the question has often been asked, why? Why do those in uniform take such extraordinary risks? And what compels them to such courage?
The Medal of Honor is not often given when things went well on a battlefield. It tends to come at a price, and heroes are often revealed. Some say I'm a hero, but it doesn't make sense because I got to come home. 8 of my brothers fought to survive for a place we had called home. And more importantly, they fought for their comrades. And in the end, they gave their lives in that defense. They are the real heroes here today. I will wear it with dignity and humility in their honor. I vow to respect their memories and carry each of them in my heart for the rest of my life. You can't go into a fight thinking, I might not come out of this. You got to go there and without doubt in your heart, just know that you're going to give it everything you got. When you got teamwork driving the fight, you're unbeatable, no matter what the odds.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. And I'm honored to help you or have you help me welcome Staff Sergeant Clinton Romachet, one of 61 living Medal of Honor recipients. Please give him a hand.
Thank you for that very warm welcome. Said a lot of times I don't know what I'm going to say. I'll be honest, I'm not a professional speaker or anything like that. I like to come and kind of just talk from the heart. This is my 3rd time coming here and seeing what our community salutes has been putting on. And with it being my 3rd time, I finally thought maybe I should put what I've seen in the past and what I've felt and really experienced down to words. And first of all, just let me say this, that thank you. Thank you for being here. I don't throw that around lightly. Sometimes I think we use words like hero and thank you and that a little too liberally, but this truly is something that so few others will never get to experience. You've seen the stats. Less than 1% of the nation is serving right now. Less than a quarter of them can even qualify for military service. It has been a little while since we have drawn down with the global war of terrorism. I went through an entire generation where my oldest daughter was literally born in 2001 and is now a 24-year-old college student. But I also, in that time, also watched kids that were born, that turned 18 and joined while, we were still in kind of direct conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's just a testament of what this nation provides. And I said, you made that decision that most your age never will, haven't even considered it. You stood up and you raised that right hand and you said, hey, send me. That matters. It's not a small thing. You don't realize it yet. That right there was true courage. I said I joined in '99. I talked a little bit about talking about to my father. I said I came from a family of military service. Granddad, World War II. Dad, 2 tours in Vietnam. Oldest brother, Army, retired Air Force now. Second oldest brother, Marines. Said, so when I graduated high school, I always wanted to serve the country. I wanted to be in the military, and I didn't really know why. Like I said, being the youngest of 3 boys, I graduated at 17 years old. Not because I was super smart, just happened to have my birthday in August. And when I got luggage for my senior graduation present, I realized my parents were trying to tell me something on moving on with life. So I went to my dad after I talked to my recruiter. I said I wanted to join to see the world, maybe get that GI Bill, and get out of a town of 100 people. Growing up in a town that small and going to school in a town of 500, I just wanted to see the world. And you will see, each and every one of you, that you've joined for one reason, but you're going to end up serving for another. Like I said, as I went to my dad and asked him to sign, he said, no, I'm not going to. He said, in my mind, I was sitting there thinking I'm the youngest of 3 boys. We grew up on a ranch and a farm. He just wanted one more summer of free labor out of me. But very quickly, Dad just looked at me and said, hey, Clint, there's not a lot going on. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in 20 years, but you'll go and do and see things that most should never have to go do and see. That didn't dawn on me until, like I said, I seen my first time in combat, what he was truly talking about. But it's interesting, as I sat there and I looked, you learn a lot about yourself, and you discover the path along the way, as you've seen briefly in that film. The attack that happened on October 3rd, 2009, that was 10 years into my term of service. That was my 3rd combat deployment. And I'll tell you, to this day, I didn't do anything special. I did the job that I know each and every one of you could step into the role and do, because it's the values that you learn from military service, from your families. It's the camaraderie that you are about to have with lifetime friends that you can meet. And like I said, my oldest son and my oldest daughter just graduated college this last weekend. Oldest son just graduated high school. I had buddies that I'd served with back in 2003 that showed up for graduation. Decades and decades later, whether tragedies going on in your life or you're having great celebratory moments, you will have lifelong battle buddies that will be there for you every step of the way. But I want to address something else as well. And for the families that are sitting in the crowd, holding your breath, maybe even holding back a few tears as you're about to watch your son or daughter put that uniform on. I want you to know we see each and every one of you. We see your sacrifice. You raised someone strong enough to serve something greater than themselves. You taught them what honor looks like, even if you didn't realize it at the time. And now, standing on the edge of a road most hope never to have to walk, you're about to do it. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You're making a sacrifice too. You live every day now knowing that one day your child might put that uniform on and never take it off again. That's not something any parent should have to be thinking about doing, but military families do. And you still support them, and that is bravery, plain and simple. There's no name. There's a name no one wants to hear, and that's Gold Star Family. It's a title no one ever asked for, but those families are real. I've stood with them. I've buried brothers beside them. And if there's one thing I know, is that their love, their sacrifice, and their pride never leaves them. It's in every folded flag, every photo on the wall, every empty chair at the dinner table. I've gotten to know a lot of our Gold Star families I'd served with, and Vanessa, who was Stephen Mace's mom, put it beautifully when she said, I lost one son, but I gained 18 more with the guys that served with him in that platoon. So to the families, thank you. Thank you for your courage, your faith, for letting your sons and daughters become something bigger than any one of us. Now, I'm not going to give you some version of some movie that comes next. There's no dramatic soundtracks. There's no slow motion scenes of what lies ahead of you in military service. It's real discipline and it's real sacrifice. It will come with so many rewards that you won't realize till you're going through it. You're stepping into something that most will never understand. You're joining a family that's bigger than yourself. A family does not care where you came from, what grades you got, what fashionable clothes you might have worn in high school, whether you were the starting quarterback, the prom king and queen. They don't care about any of that. You will start with a clean slate, and they will care about whether or not you have their backs. Because you better believe they're going to have yours. Not just for the time you're serving together, but for the rest of your life. I'm going to tell you something about service, and it isn't glamorous. It's not about the glory. Most of it is quiet, relentless work. It's long nights. It's cold field problems. It's grumbling hummies for food. It's carrying loads and the weight of some things that aren't always just physical, but it is meaningful. It is purpose with boots on. It's learning that life isn't about taking, it's about giving. Giving your time, giving your sweat, and unfortunately, giving sometimes more. As I reflect back to that day where I'd been acknowledged and had received my medal, you look at what happened to us. We were 50 Americans that were put at this outpost at the bottom of a valley surrounded by mountains on all four sides. 50 Americans and 2 Latvians. We got attacked by over 400 Taliban fighters that had done the research, knew what they were doing. They were dedicated to eliminating us. Said in the first just moments, things went from bad to worse. Right away, we lost Kevin Thompson. Shortly after, we lost Sergeant Kirk. Quickly thereafter, we lost Scusa. And like I said, things just went from bad to worse. And as the day went on, said we ended up losing 8 guys. We ended up getting overran. The enemy was in our wire within the first hour. But as the dust settled, and you look at just the statistics of it, at 8-to-1 odds with the enemy with superior firepower and numbers, how any of us came out of there alive. And I can tell you this, it's because the enemy was trying to kill us because they hated us. Each and every one of my brothers I served with were fighting for love of each other. That is something you will see firsthand. If you want to learn about love, put the uniform on and serve your country with your brothers to your left and right. Sometimes you're going to be scared. That's normal. I know I was. I mean, if you're not scared, you've got something wired a little different, I guess. But fear is just a sign of what you're actually doing matters. But don't be frozen by that fear. Face it, overcome, and know you're never going to do it alone. I've seen what it means to carry the weight of service. I've also seen the strength that come out of it. Young men and women just like you. People who dug deep, found more inside themselves than they ever thought they had. They walked through hell for the next person. They did it for them. I can think about, going back to Stephen Mace. Stephen was hit, seriously wounded, and was cut off from the rest of the unit. And that day he lied there for almost 6 hours with 0 medical attention because no one could get to him. Finally, when Sergeant Larson and Carter were able to kind of get a little control of the situation, Carter was able to go out there and put tourniquets on. And like I said, after a course of almost six hours, we were finally able to bring Mace back. got him to the aid station. I said he was in very bad shape. Like I said, it's the weight of things that you carry. And I remember the call coming out because we were very remote. We didn't have access to high-end medical stuff. But the call came out just asking for anybody that had the same blood type to go to the aid station. And literally still during an active firefight, I watched guys cycle back off the line to go to the aid station to put an IV in them and give him a unit of blood to keep him going. When we finally were able to get the medevacs in there, I remember we loaded Mace up on the helos, bringing him back to Fob Bostic, where we knew he was going to be in the hands of some of the best surgeons in the world. And it wasn't until 4 o'clock in the morning we had heard he passed away. Like I said, I struggled with that for years. It's like, how does this kid that's lying there with no medical help, no treatment, guys going and giving him direct blood transfusions, he's cracking jokes, and we're making promises that we're going to have some drinks together once we get back to Fort Carson, and he's literally on an operating room table where all the stuff is going, that all the stuff that he needs is right there, and he passes away. That weighs heavily on me, and I thought, man. And again, it was talking to Vanessa that she said, hey, look, Stephen held on as long as he could because he wanted to tell you brothers goodbye. He got to tell his military family goodbye. And once he did that, he could go back to his Father in heaven. Don't be ashamed of carrying that weight, though, but be proud to share it. Said, as I put on this little blue ribbon of silk, said it comes with that weight and that burden. You guys will feel those challenges, that sacrifice. As being the less than 1% that's now going to serve, just like I do, that has helped me so much. By sharing those stories, I put a little of that weight on each and every one of you who hasn't served, so we all carry it together. You're accepting a challenge that few will, again. A challenge that will shape you and do something rare in today's world. Someone who puts others first. Someone who shows up and endures, who fights and who will win. But remember this, respect isn't earned from just wearing the uniform, but it's by how you carry it. Go forward with humility and with girt. And with the understanding that service isn't a chapter in your life, it becomes who you are from here on out. One day, long after you take that uniform off and you unlace those boots for the last time, people will ask you what it's like. And you will know deep down in your heart that you answered that call. You know that when the country needed defenders, you stepped forward. You didn't choose the easy road. You chose the road that matters. So stand tall, be proud, but stay humble. This is just the beginning. I want to welcome each and every one of you to the Brotherhood of Military Service, and welcome to the journey of the rest of your life. Again, thank you and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you. I just really appreciate you setting the expectation. But the reality of when I looked at the pictures of you, and I think about when I got out of boot camp and these young people before us, I mean, that was us right there. It was me a long time ago, you a little bit more recent. But, I mean, I wonder what your folks thought about when they saw you after graduating just from boot camp, kind of a different person you may have turned into from a high school kid.
I know my mom and dad were just so pleased to see what maturity I had. Because like I said, in high school, I was a C's get degrees kid. I would be rather out messing around than studying. and they seen what the discipline it gave me and the structure and the direction that, just like so many parents, you know you've tried to instill that before, but it's not. It's always something about someone else saying the exact same thing you've been saying for years that sticks.
And I also like that you talked about the reality of the brotherhood, the sisterhood that they're going to experience while in the military, and it starts at boot camp. And it's interesting, and this is what we're trying to do, is to remind you. We keep saying they're special, but I don't think you're going to realize it until you get through boot camp and you get to the fleet and you kind of see that there's something about you, an ethos, that humility, that loyalty, that brotherhood that's going to become a part of you. And it's probably why, in a moment, we're getting ready to enlist these individuals. But I liked how you just brought about the reality of these young men and women are going to be able to do it.
They're the next generation continuing it forward. And you'll see that pride just goes beyond just general military service. You'll start to see the kind of bickering back and forth of branch of service, MOS in service, and never pass up the opportunity to make fun of the Marines.
Yeah. And so, and that's what I noticed in the remarks that you had up there. So your brother joined the Corps, and you couldn't do it? You didn't...
I didn't like the flavor of crayons.
Didn't like the flavor of crayons. Gotcha.
And I could never fit my head into that jar, but apparently the tricks, you got to lick the rim or something to get it to fit on the head.
You got to be able to put your head in a jar and run around. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's funny, some of the people might get the term jar-headed crayons, but probably many don't, but you and I do. We could probably be here for an hour just bantering back and forth with that. But, Clint, we have something pretty special we would like to do this evening. We have a tradition in this hall on this evening for the Midland, South Carolina, our community salutes. And I don't think this happens anywhere else in the nation, but if you would do us the honor, we would like to enlist and have these students come forward and recite the oath of enlistment and have them be enlisted by a Medal of Honor recipient. Would you like to do that?
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. So Stephanie's on stage with us, and so would all of our military recruiters please join us up front? All of our military recruiters, please join us up front. Clint, can you imagine being a recruiter today, again, going after that, just at 24%, realizing that your window is only at a 25%?
Hats off to all the recruiters out there, the long nights, the long days, what they've got to put in, and the talent and skill that you've got to go out and compete with. You said it perfectly earlier, this is not a fallback plan. It never, ever was. It's a profession that you're competing for.
Yeah, and Sergeant First Class Hancock, if you could create that formation over there, do you remember who your recruiter was by name?
Sergeant Bitzer.
And
11 Bravo out of Fort Drum, New York.
Fort Drum, New York. Mine was Gunnery Sergeant David Lee. Remember him like yesterday. 4 o'clock in the morning, he picked me up. My mom's crying. My dad's like, thank goodness. And off I went off to boot camp at 4 o'clock in the morning. Nothing like this took place back then. So now, what I like to do is I like to have all of our this evening's honored guests, our Armed Forces enlistees, please come forward, and Sergeant First Class Hancock will put you into a formation. Moms and dads, we are getting ready to do the oath of enlistment, and that'll be conducted by Medal of Honor recipient, Staff Sergeant Clint Romachet. Yep, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, why Sergeant First Class is getting the enlistees together, would you just take a moment and show your love and appreciation for those recruiters right there? Please give it up for them.
These 27 students in front of us come from all backgrounds. They're different by school, gender, race, religion, and abilities. But in a moment, they will all have one life-changing thing in common. They swear into the military oath of enlistment. The oath of enlistment is something that every service member must promise and adhere to for their entire military career. From the oath, you can see that you will be defending the Constitution, not a person, and obeying orders. Enlistees, there is a copy of the Constitution on your table as a gift to you. I recommend when you go home, you read this document and write today's date. the date you took the oath of enlistment given by Medal of Honor recipient Staff Sergeant Clint Romachet.
Sergeant First Class Hancock, is the platoon formed? So enlistees, please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after Staff Sergeant Clint Romachet.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me. According to the regulation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
So recruiters, I'd ask you to take your seats and thank you very much. Enlistees, we have one more special thing we want to be able to do for you. So stand at ease, relax. Perfect. Stephanie?
So Clint, you may not have noticed, and many of you probably didn't notice either, I gave Shalena one of my father's challenge coins. And I understand Clint has also received one from my dad. Maybe you can give a little history of what the coin is about.
You know, it's truly special to receive a challenge coin, especially from someone like your dad. And you guys will see through your military service what these mean. Now, the challenge coins comes from World War I. It was created before we had the Air Force, we had the Army Air Corps. Now, when they were part of that, they never got their Hilton's honor points or their free Wi-Fi, so then we made the Air Force. But a new squadron, because it's World War I, of biplanes and stuff, in the Army Air Corps, the lieutenant that was in charge of them made a special medallion coin for each one of his pilots, gave it to him. One of his pilots was flying over enemy lines in Germany, was shot down, was captured, and they took his dog tags and his uniform. But the Geneva Convention allows you to keep personal effects. And since that was not, they didn't quite understand, the Germans didn't quite understand what it was, they let him keep that coin. Well, this pilot is able to escape. He goes into a farmhouse and he finds some civilian clothes. And he escapes back to friendly lines, but unfortunately he ran into the French. And because of the language barrier, as he's sitting there trying to explain that he is an American pilot, they are about to execute him thinking he's a German spy. But he pulls out that coin and shows it to him. And it gives them just enough time to sit there and think about what they're about to do, that the Army confirms that we are missing one of our pilots. And that coin saved his life, hence the challenge. Challenge of his citizenship, his service, and his camaraderie back to his unit.
So we are going to take a moment, and this is a tradition for this hall that we're doing tonight. We would like to honor you with our Community Salutes Midland, South Carolina coin. We hope this is the first coin that you're going to receive of many coins. So if I could ask you just to bear with me, I'd love you to have one line from right to left facing the audience. Just go ahead and turn around and make one single line facing the audience. You can back it up a little bit, all the way. And I understand for some of the moms and dads or guardians are here tonight, I understand some of you may be veterans as well. So I'd like you to come forward and stand in front of your enlistee, your son and daughter. If you're a mom and dad who happens to be a veteran as well, or served in the military, or are currently serving, please come forward. Linda Codwell will hand you a coin, and you're getting ready to coin your son or your daughter. So then I'd like Our Community Salutes board members to come forward and get a coin, and stand in front of one of these enlistees. And don't coin yet, just hold it. The board members should be coming forward. I see Sandra. Now I'd like any veteran, any military veteran to come forward and stand in front of one of these enlistees. And it's okay if there's more than one or two or three or four in front of these enlistees. This is your opportunity to say thank you for your service. Thank you for protecting our freedom. For the young enlistees in front of you tonight, you're the young breed and you're seeing the old breed. And they're passing a legacy on to you and saying thank you for your service by handing you this coin. So if you have that coin in your hand and you're standing in front of one of these enlistees, I'd ask you to take that coin in your right hand and shake the hand of that enlistee and put that coin into their palm of their hand and say thank you for enlisting. And then the next person can come right up and just say congratulations and shake their hand as well. You know, it's funny, I'm seeing a couple people pull coins out of their own pockets, and they're probably double coining these guys right now. What a tradition that is. You're seeing the camaraderie right in front of you. Give them a hand again, please. All right, enlistees, one more piece of direction I have for you. If you would go ahead and just move forward and go ahead and face us again, just go ahead and move forward and face the stage. So we have another tradition. So I don't think this is a Gen Z thing, so I'm going to go boomer real quick. Do you have your phone on you? Yeah, I left mine on the table. So I'm going to test Staff Sergeant Robinshea for a second. So if I do this, what am I doing?
You're taking a selfie.
Taking a selfie. So we got that. That's an easy. You guys got the selfie, right? But I got to tell you, when the boomers were around, they would be like, get everybody together. Let's get a group picture, group picture. So now when it's three of us, what do we call that? What's that called?
It's called the backdrop. You
No,
got it
I
facing
got the
wrong way.
backdrop. I got it. There it goes. What's that called? It's a groupie. Come on, you should have known that. So we're going to do a Team Romeshay group photo. We're going to come down. Our photographer's going to come up. We're coming down, and we're going to do the biggest groupie that this audience has ever seen. Let's all go down, and we'll use your phone. Staff Sergeant Romeshay, it's been an honor to spend an evening with you again. You've made a special memory for these men and women and their families, their guardians, and friends. While you were standing up front, Stephanie Bikirk had mentioned to you that perhaps you take that Constitution that's going to be in a gift bag behind you, and I recommend you write the date that you enlisted into your branch of service and you were sworn in by Medal of Honor recipient Staff Sergeant Clint Romeshay. And I'll bet you, well, probably don't bring it up at boot camp. Don't do that. But sometime, some way, you're going to be able to have major bragging rights, and you got your first challenge coin to tell someone else, I'm already a leg up on you. And that's that camaraderie, but that working together that comes from it. So what an incredible ceremony.
To all the new service members in our local community, thank you. And your parents for your service, your patriotism, and your commitment to protecting our freedom. We're committed to helping you, and we really mean that, and your parents make a successful transition into military service.
And to all the enlistees, the table centerpieces are yours to take home. And there's also a bag at the back where you're going to get a hand-signed copy of Staff Sergeant Romaché's book. So please go back to the back and have that as well.
Tonight's ceremony would not have been possible without the generous support of our sponsors, academic partners, and volunteers. On behalf of our Community Salutes Midland, South Carolina Board of Directors, we thank you. Please check out our webpage listed above where you can keep connected to OCS Midland, South Carolina.
You know, Clint, this evening tonight has been a product of a lot of volunteers, of a lot of sponsors and donors from various labels, to people purchasing these tables, to major corporations coming back. And that's one of the things we talked about this year, is that when you guys do come home, that you have a community to go back to. You have a veteran services officer. You've got major corporations to smaller corporations to organizations who want to see you be successful. So remember, tap back into your community, and we will be here. I like what you said. We have their back, and I think you've experienced that as well. So we have their back at the same time. So at the same time, on your tables, a quick little shout out, there are some donation cards that are available there. If you would like to be a part of that, to help this legacy to continue on, please take one of those sponsor or donor cards with you and help us out to be able to keep this event going from year after year to year. And we would really appreciate your help on that, so thank you. So at this time, I'd like you to enjoy a beautiful rendition of America the Beautiful, and please enjoy this rendition. And James, please round it up and take it out. And thank you very much, everybody, for being our guest this evening.
For purple mountain,
A quick announcement for the enlistees. If the enlistees are still here, Staff Sergeant Romachet is going to be in the back of the room, and Staff Sergeant Romachet has one of his personal coins he'd like to give to you. So if the enlistees, when you go back to the room to pick up the gift bag that we have for you, Staff Sergeant Romachet will be there to be able to give you one of his personal coins. Please, you're not going to want to miss out on that. Thank you.